For those who have been following our channel for the past year, you would know that it's been over a year since the Plants vs. Zombies plush collection was released. Now, even though the Plants vs. Zombies plush collection will not be updated, there is still collections of other series I have to do. This one being the Pokemon plush that we use in our Z&E series, Series 1 Pokemon plush series. Before we start, there is a little notice. Now, not every single Pokemon will be in this video. Some characters do not belong to me. For example, Tyrunt, Flareon, Leafeon, Squirtle, or the Dragonites, or Lapras. Those Pokemon do not belong to me and are not at my house, which means they will not be in this list. Let's start. Starting off with Generation 1, we have Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur. This is the only full evolution line of a starter that I have. Pikachu, Raichu, who is smaller than Pikachu, Jigglypuff, Wigglytuff, Kakuna, who is a recent Pokemon Toad caught. Here is one that you haven't seen in our series yet, Mankey. Here is Psyduck, Beedrill. Here is Slowbro. What I meant to say is Slowpoke. Charizard, Jolteon, Vaporeon, Golbat, Tentacool, one you haven't seen yet, Tentacruel, Magikarp, Gyarados with a bendable body. Here is Meowth, starting some of Team Rocket's Pokemon. We have Ekans, Arbok, Coughing, Wheezing, Lickitung, Weepinbell, Victreebel, and last but least, Shelder. Here is Kingler, Mok, Soft-boiled Chansey, Abra. Here is Kadabra. Don't have Alakazam yet, though. Here is Drowsy, one of our most known Pokemon on the series, if not the most. And when you have Drowsy, Hypno is not far behind. One of the tallest Generation 1 plush I own. Here are the fossils. Ammonite, Amistar, Kabutops, Mega Charizard X, and finally, Mewtwo. There is all of the Generation 1 Pokemon. Now we will move on to Generation 2. The Kanto region has most of the plush. However, there are still some more in other generations. First off, we have Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Hoot Hoot, Ariados. Here is one of the most known Pokemon from Generation 2 that is in our series, Umbreon, Junior's starter and main Pokemon. Since we went with Junior's starter, now it's time for Joseph's. Here's Espeon. Here's Pineco. Now we only have two left. We have Wobbuffet And last but not least, Crobat. With a little chain on its head, just like Slowpoke. There are all the Generation 2 Pokemon next to the Generation 1s. Now let's start even fewer, Generation 3. First we have Cascoon and Dustox. Whalmer. All these smaller plushies, while most of them have beans near their underside, there is a pink Chimecho. Here's Anorith. Last but not least, for Generation 3, Regirock. There are all the Generation 3 sitting next to the 2 and 1 Pokemon. As for Generation 4, I only have one Pokemon for that region, being Riolu. Jackie Chu's Pokemon, if you watch our series. I only have two Generation 5 Pokemon. Cofagrigus and Genesect, who you will be seeing later in our original series, one of our Pokemon series. Before we do our overview, here are the only Generation 6 Pokemon I own. Here we have the only shiny Pokemon that I have, which is Shiny Pumpkaboo. It's as big as Coughing. And then Inkay. Here are the Generations 4, 5, and 6 next to the other generations. I know Drowsy is not excited for this, but it's about time we go through our Generation 7 Pokemon, starting with Lynn. Why don't you go right next to Drowsy? Here is Lone Dolphin's loyal Alolan Persian. I was originally supposed to get the original Persian, however that one was unavailable at the time, so I got this one for him. Mimikyu. Now it's time for the Ultra Beasts. We have Nihilego. If you have a small plush or puppet, you could put its head inside of Nihilego's to have like Nihilego controlling it or whatever. Next is Xurkitree. Xurkitree has bendable limbs, so that means the 3 of its legs and its arms bend. However, I'm not going to do that right now because it's going to be hard to do with a camera. Same thing goes for Buzzwole. He has bendable limbs, however I can't bend them, since it's hard with the camera. But he does have shiny wings. Lastly, we have Celesteela, who is a bit hard to place because she's bigger than a lot of the other plush. Here is the entire collection so far. We only have one more to go, which is Generation 8. First up, we have Sobble, Drizzle, and out of all the collection, probably the tallest, Inteleon. Just like Buzzwole and Xurkitree, there are bendable limbs, which I could not bend because I am holding a camera. Next up, Gossifleur, Eldegoss. Here is a hangry mode Morpeko. Don't have the normal version though. Frostmoth. Here's one you may recognize, Hatenna. You might recognize her from Cody's Phases, when Ken cheated on Cody for her. She was supposed to be Cody's Pokemon. Now I don't have Hattrem, but I do have Hatterene with a posable tentacle, I guess you could call, on the top of her hat. Impidimp, Phalanx, made of a different material than like all the other plush, but Clobopus, Alchemy, and for a little bonus, the last plush is a Premier Ball. And that is it. That is the entire Pokemon plush collection that I own. Once again, if you don't see Pokemon like Lapras, Dragonites, or Flareon, or Tyrant, or Squirtle, those Pokemon are owned by Drowsy, the other person on the channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want more plush collections, for example, a puppet plush collection for our normal characters, just comment down below or like the video.